One of the very first appointments Donald Trump made after winning the election in November was tapping one man to be what he calls his border czar. Tom Homan is a former Border Patrol agent and acting director of ICE with decades of experience in Republican and Democratic administrations. I sat down with him this week and began our conversation by asking him about the role of the U.S. military.
We got military on the border, not only helping us with departure flights on military planes, but they're helping to build infrastructure. They're putting up concertina wire. They're down there to create a secure border and lock that border down. And DOD's helped administrations before, but not at this level. So it's a force multiplier, and it's sending a strong signal to the world. Our border's closed.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes, but you can see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
While you are emphasizing that you go after national security threats, you have said no one's off the table. If you're in the country illegally, you better be looking over your shoulder. You should be afraid and start packing now. Is that what you're doing to get hotel workers out or people working on farms, that they'll be so scared they just leave?
Look, I think if you're in the country illegally, it's not okay. It's not okay to violate laws of this country. We have millions of people standing in line, taking the test, doing their background investigation, paying the fees that want to come in the right way.
Let's talk about the arrests so far. Numbers released the first day were over 500, and there were reports that one was a suspected terrorist, others were gang members. Were all of the people who were arrested on day one, as far as you know, convicted criminals or those who had been arrested before?
No. Let me explain that. There are collateral arrests. Where do collateral arrests happen? Sanctuary cities. And this is important we understand that. Sanctuary cities lock us out of the jails. So instead of ICE being able to arrest the bad guy, the criminal alien, in the safety and security of the jail where the officer's safe, the alien's safe, and the public's safe, sanctuary cities release them back in the community, which endangers the community, putting the criminal alien back in the community. But when we find him, he's going to be with others, most likely. Many times they're with others. If they're in the country illegally, they're coming too.
But were these arrests all in sanctuary cities? It doesn't appear so on the first day.
The collaterals, many more. I don't have the exact breakdown, but again,
so the arrests in Massachusetts, in Chelsea, Massachusetts, which the governor said it's great to arrest the criminals who are convicted. But were there people taken there as well who were not convicted? Were they, as you say, collaterals?
I'm sure they are.
You talk about these numbers expanding. 500 the first day. What do you think you can get up to?
As many as we can get.
What can happen at this point, given your manpower?
Look, I think we're in the beginning stages. We're bringing more resources into this operation. As a whole of government, we're going to have DOJ assisting us, and like the DOD piece, helping build infrastructure, helping the transportation. That takes ICE, badges and guns out of those duties and puts them on the street.
I want to go back to who you're deporting. Aside from the long list of executive actions, the administration said it will no longer tell ICE agents they have to avoid sensitive locations, including schools, hospitals, churches. Benjamin Huffman, the acting Homeland Security Secretary, said in a statement, criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest. What criminals are hiding in schools? Look, middle schools, elementary schools. You going to go into those?
How many MS-13 members are the age of 14 to 17? Many of them. So
All right, now more on the breaking news we first brought you at the top of the newscast. The Pentagon will begin deploying as many as 1,500 active duty troops to help secure the southern border in the coming days.
Deportations in cities like New York could start soon. Our Jessica Formoso joins us now. And Jess, you actually sat down with the commissioner of the mayor's office of immigrant affairs. What did they have to say?
Yeah, Natasha, see, that's right. I did. And there's a lot of unknowns. Our local officials can't give us concrete answers as to what could happen in the coming days. Multiple reports say raids will start in Chicago and then New York. What we do know is the mayor is talking to ICE officials about migrants who have committed crimes. The question is, if mass deportations take place in our city, what would it look like, and does the city have a plan?
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program.
Before he was sworn in, President Donald Trump was vocal about initiating the largest mass deportation in U.S. history. And in his first day in office,
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
while details of how and when are scarce, the commander-in-chief has said he plans to mobilize the U.S. military to enforce the operation, an operation that has many migrants on edge.
No me siento seguro.
I do not feel safe. I do not feel safe. Jason Gonzalez arrived in New York City from Venezuela with his wife and 3 children in October. They've been in the city's care ever since. First placed in Floyd Bennett Field, a makeshift shelter on a national park, which is federal property.
Teníamos mucho temor.
We were very afraid because these are federal lands where we fear that with President Trump's return to the presidency, we could witness raids here. That shelter was closed earlier this month. So what would mass deportations look like across the country?
They're talking about workplace raids, family separations, strict restrictions on new immigrants, and potentially deporting, they say, 11 to 20 million people.
We have more than 16 million people in the United States who don't have full rights to be here.
Musafir Chisti is an attorney and senior fellow and director of the Migration Policy Institute at New York University School of Law. He believes deportations will happen. As to how many people could be deported, that remains to be seen.
I think you have to take the administration on its word that there will be some kind of mass deportation. What mass is, no one knows.
Laws, due process, he says, need to be followed, but the fear is real among the community. Jason worries schools and other sensitive locations may be targets.
Como que adoctrinar a los niños a saber qué van a hacer.
We are training our children to know what to do if something happens. It makes me very afraid that they could pick me up in the streets and never make it back home to my children.
Colocándole toda su documentación en el muro.
We are placing all their documentation in their backpacks, telephone numbers, so that they are prepared.
It's important not to allow panic set in.
Manuel Castro is the commissioner of the mayor's office of immigrant affairs. Over the last 2.5 years, he says, over 220,000 asylum seekers have arrived in New York City. Today, 51,000 remain under the city's care. That's not counting the hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants living for years across our city.
Does the city have a plan?
First thing is to make sure that our city staff at all levels is trained on our sanctuary laws and our sanctuary city policies. Now, as city employees, we cannot cooperate with enforcement, but we also cannot interfere with enforcement.
But what will the city do if such plan is carried out?
There is only so much we can do to protect immigrants. The federal government has said they will enforce immigration law whether they receive support from cities or not.
Has the mayor or yourself or anyone in the administration been able to speak to the incoming administration? Have they been able to prepare you for anything?
There's so much that's still unknown.
Mayor Adams, who has met with President Trump, has been vocal about deporting migrants who have committed violent crimes.
People who commit these violent crimes must be addressed. And that is our conversation with ICE.
For now, all Jason and his family can do is be prepared.
Las primeras semanas
Oh, damn. What's going on, everyone? This is Police Officer Shagapon with the ISUPK, and today's live is dedicated to finding out what everyone thinks about Donald Trump, whether you like him, whether you dislike him, your reasons why. Right now we got, brother, you mind introducing yourself? Where you from?
Volvo Ranch, Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. So what's going on, Volvo Ranch? Thanks for joining the stream. So what you think? Do you like Trump?
I appreciate you letting me speak on your stream. You know, I like Trump. I voted for Trump. Just for context, I'm a foundational black American.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I voted for Trump. You know what I mean? I like what they're doing with the deportations. I voted for Trump because he taking the men out of women's sports. I'm voting for that.
Wait, before you continue, then, so you did vote for Trump, right?
Yeah.
And you so tell me first, why do you like the whole deportation situation that's going on?
Oh well, like I said, I'm a foundational black American, and for one, well, it's so much stuff with the mass deportation. Let's just start with every immigrant group that came here been against us for no reason. That was us talking about Rainbow Coalition. That was us talking about Pan-Africanism. That was us talking about Black and Brown lives. Even I'm not sure. I see like some Hebrew Israelite stuff on there. That's Black American culture. We the ones that talk like that. That was us trying to unify with everybody, but everybody came over here and shitted on us. You know what I mean? So like we already got one enemy. We don't need other enemies from all over the world coming here to dump on us and take advantage of the position that America put us in. That's just one reason why I voted for deportation.
Question: do you think the indigenous people of the Americas, specifically here in what we call the United States, do you think they historically have been against foundational blacks, and why?
Hold on, wait, say it again. Hold on, chill, baby. Hold on. You said what? I'm sorry. You said were they historically?
So the indigenous people of this particular land called the United States, do you think they were enemies of foundational Black Americans, and why?
100%. This is proven. Right now, we got people of my complexion that have lived on reservations their whole life, and they've been thrown off the reservation. They're fighting for the resources that were allocated from the government. They're fighting for that right now. They've been thrown off the reservation. I have indigenous ancestry myself. You know what I mean? They were saying if you're too black, you can't get on certain you're not entitled to certain benefits and shit like that. They also, it's a common fact that the lighter skinned natives enslaved the darker skinned natives. So it's been they just sided with the white supremacists. That's why they did it.
Do you think there are any exceptions to that? Meaning, do you think that all native tribes or groups enslaved Black people, or do you think there were some that sided with Black people and wanted to free them, and under the guise of having them as slaves to protect them, that's ways they got around working with dealing with the oppressor?
Well, yeah, there's exceptions to every rule. You know what I mean? There's exceptions to every rule, but it was just common that they sided with the white. There's videos online right now of people of my complexion that lived on their whole ancestry, as far as they can trace back, has been on those reservations. And just because they're too dark, they're being kicked off the reservation. They're being kicked off. They're not entitled to the $50 million that the government allocated to these people and stuff like that. So you know what I mean? Like, so there's always been we fought. I mean, we lived alongside each other. So there's been cases where we done fought together, but for the most part, they have not been honorable. Bring me a beer, Kayla.
I think that's interesting because in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we're filled with so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, and many of us share similar stories where our ancestors helped and lived and mixed, or quote unquote mixed, with one another. So I know brothers that are dark as you, that are full-blown Native American from their paternal lineage all the way down, and they can attest to how the brainwashing or the colorism that takes effect that was learned from the oppressor, and how it can kind of make them put policies in place or rules in place to affect their darker brothers. So I could definitely understand that. Do you think that deporting so-called Hispanic migrants will make the lives of foundational Black Americans better in the United States?
100%. You know what I mean? There's countless stories of our children going to school with their children, and they being discriminated against, being called nigger and monkey and all that when the Latinos got the upper hand. When the Latinos I'll give you one example. I'll give you a great example. Well, hold on, let me say this. Well, it's countless stories, but when Latinos go to an all-Black school, and we don't do no shit like that, that's like frowned upon. Black kids will beat your ass if you're doing something like that. I got another example of Nori Martinez in LA. She was a city council member. She sat up there calling Black people monkeys, and she's sitting around talking about how she wants to undermine her Black constituents. She wants to undermine her Black constituents and give the resources to the Latinos when it was more Black people in LA. We never did that. There's no Black version of a Nori Martinez. We don't do shit like that. Even with the gang members out there, they writing nigger killer on the wall. So this comes from their anti-Blackness, comes directly from their homelands. They're anti-Black against the dark-skinned people in their homelands. So you know what I mean. So 100%, if it's less enemies around, just by default, life will get better.
Now, from my experience, I'm what people would consider Black and Hispanic based on my lineage. Mom is Puerto Rican. Her mom was a Black Borican Indian. My dad's mom was a Black Borican Indian. My dad's father was a very dark-skinned man from Ecuador, descendant of Incans. And I was born and raised here in New York City, in Harlem. I went to schools with Black people and Hispanic people predominantly. And what you said, I've never experienced. Now, I'm just giving you my own experience. I've never felt nothing but love from the so-called Black community. And I've never seen any type of, let me rephrase that. And I've also seen nothing but love from the Hispanic community towards the Black community. Now, I will add this. You, especially using that example you gave of that Hispanic council member, I believe you said, from California, right? I do believe when people feel taken advantage of, they will try to do whatever they can to get more of an advantage, even if it means sowing discord between unified groups, That's just my opinion. I've seen how the oppressor can play dark-skinned Black people against light-skinned Black people. And now, we have people hating each other because one is lighter than the other, or having a dark-skinned Puerto Rican woman with more textured and curly hair, and having a light-skinned Puerto Rican girl talk about her hair is bad or that she has good hair. So I can understand that, but I think that's all very strategic in keeping us separate from one another.
Well, I don't agree with you on that, because I mean, they told us bad stuff. They told us bad stuff about everybody. We didn't fall for it. We didn't fall for it. That was us talking about black and brown lives. That was our idea. It could be a black man get killed, and we would say, yeah, that black man, that was wrong how they did that black man, and then right after that, they would say that's why black and brown people need to stick together. Black and brown, it had nothing to do with a so-called brown person, nothing. So you know what I mean, that was us. You mentioned groups feeling I guess like disenfranchised or
like taken advantage of, and so they're trying to do whatever they can to get more an advantage, which would be
nobody's been taken advantage of more than the foundational black American. Nobody in the history of the planet. We were their slaves, but we didn't fall for that. We didn't fall for that. The other groups came over here and they went with the winner. Where with the winner is they sided with the winner. We never did nothing like that. Like when if it was a Latino artist, he was doing black music, we would put him on BT, put him in our shows, put him in our movies. You don't see that in reverse. You don't see you never seen a black guy on Telemundo. You never seen a black guy hosting the Latin Music Awards.
See that's that's why I think many people may not grasp the concept. When I look at a dark-skinned man that was raised in the South, let's say Tennessee, and I look at a dark-skinned man from Haiti, and I look at a dark-skinned man from Dominican Republic, and I look at a dark-skinned man from Puerto Rico, I don't see any difference. To me, they'll all be a black man, right?
What about an African?
Well, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we know and teach that Africans do not descend from the people that we do.
I mean, what if you seen an African on the street? Would you say that's a black man? If you just seen a regular African on the street? Because I mean, you mentioned Haiti, America, you mentioned these Puerto Rican.
Correct. And I did that deliberately. Now
I know you did. That's why I asked you about the African.
I'm from New York City, so I have always noticed there's just something different with a person from an African country that is either born here or comes over here. I went to high school with an international school that were filled with African students, and there was always something physically different when I looked at my brother Jamal or my brother Gerald that came and born and raised in Brooklyn, or from East Harlem. There was always something different. So right off the bat, just growing up in that experience, I always noticed some type of physical difference. So that's just my opinion.
I mean, you know me, I say all of us is different. The so-called black people, nobody can really identify what's black. Nobody really can identify that. It'll go so many places, you know what I mean? But I don't see myself as the same. I'm a black American. I'm 100% black American. All my lineage traced back to the plantations of the South. I don't see myself as the same as a Haitian or as a Jamaican or as a Puerto Rican or a Dominican or a dark-skinned Mexican, whatever. I'm not the same. Like I have a different story, a different heritage, a different lineage. We practice a different culture. We eat different foods. We have a different story. I trace back, like I said, to the South of here in the United States, to the plantations. Like I didn't come to America for a better life. You know what I mean? I came to America on a slave ship. The people that did that wasn't the Africans that did come here from slavery came here on a slave ship, or I came here on a different type of ship, an explorer ship. You know what I mean? The Black Moors. That I believe that's a part of who I am. They're my ancestors. The Black natives, the dark-skinned natives that were here. That's a part of my ancestry. So you know what I mean? I didn't come here. I didn't fly here. My family been in this country before a plane was even in the sky. So I'm not saying.
So one last question before I bring the other brother on, because I want to bring everyone up here to get there.
I appreciate the conversation. I really do.
No sweat, man. As a foundational Black American, and considering your heritage and roots and culture to be based here in America, do you also identify and align yourselves with people that are in Africa, in different countries in Africa?
No, I don't. I don't identify with them. They have a different culture. They have a different. Now, do I have African lineage? 100%. That's undeniable. That's undeniable. That's undebatable. If you're trying to debate that with me, I can't even have that real conversation with that. But no, I'm not the same. We've been through an ethnogenesis here in this country. You know what I mean? That makes us unique, a different type of people. Can I identify with maybe a dark-skinned guy walking around in America, some of the stuff that he might go through? Yeah. But as far as we being the same people, absolutely not.
So you wouldn't align yourself with Africans then?
When you say align yourself, like what do you mean?
For instance, so foundational Black Americans trace their roots to being here in America. And I believe, correct me if you're wrong, you said that it's very possible or likely or a fact that many were brought from Africa here, and that the difference is just, you said, an ethnogenesis, I believe you said it was?
Yep.
So if we were to take all that away, then would you just rather consider yourselves to be Africans that were just, brought here and raised here and had to suffer through tribulations here in America, but you would still be African?
Well, I mean, I can't take away my ethnogenesis. I can't. That's what make me who I am. So I can't take that away. I can't. That's what will make a Puerto Rican a Puerto Rican. Their ethnogenesis on the island of Puerto Rico, or a Jamaican is their ethnogenesis in Jamaica, or a Chinese man, his ethnogenesis in China. So that's what makes you who you are. Like your culture on the land, your experience on the land. That's what makes you a new ethnic group, then eventually a new people. So
Okay.
I can, yeah.
All right, let me bring this brother up here. Let's see who this is. Brother Kevin, what's going on? How you doing? You got to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Rance, can you also unmute yourself too? You can leave, stay unmuted.
No, I didn't want to. I got some background noise. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay. That's right. So,
Okay, so
Kevin, introduce yourself. Where you tuning in from?
I'm tuning in from New York, Bronx, New York.
New York. So, what do you think? We were talking about deportation, Trump's policies on deportation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's first go over all the things that Donald Trump promised that he said he was going to do. The first thing he said he was going to lower grocery prices. The last time I looked, when I went to the grocery store, eggs right now are about like $10. The prices haven't been lowered. Gas is going up once again. The second thing he promised to do was on day one to end the war in Ukraine. Well, last time I looked, the war is still going on. A lot of people voted for Donald Trump because they thought the economy was bad. Guess what? The economy is not improving anytime soon. So let's just go back to this whole deportation thing. We have over 30,000 Ukrainians in this country. I haven't seen one of them leave this country yet. The second thing is Donald Trump promised to deport criminals. The people that are being deported right now, some of them are criminals. They admitted maybe 1,000 of them were criminals, but most of these people that are being deported are not criminals. These are people that are here just illegally in this country. I don't know if you want to call that being a criminal, but he's not doing the things that he promised that he was going to do. So let's take a look at this incident today. In Colombia received 2 plane loads of what they consider illegal immigrants. The Colombians refused to take them. They didn't refuse to take them because they didn't want to take them back. They refused to take them because of the way they were being treated.
And they came on military planes, if I'm not mistaken.
They came on military planes that's costing us $250,000 a day just to fly. Instead of just putting them on regular planes and sending them back, the Colombians refuse to take them because they're saying that they're treating them like criminals, and they're not criminals. So they said to the United States, listen, we'll take these people, but you just have to treat them a lot better than the way you're treating them. Why are you putting people in handcuffs and putting them in those handcuffs on their feet and treating them like they're mass murderers? This is what these countries are saying, that this is the reason why they're not taking some of them back, because of the way Donald Trump and this administration is treating them. It's crazy to me.
So would you be okay with mass deportation if it was done in a more humane way?
I'm fine with deporting people who have committed serious crimes. If you go into the store and steal a now later or something like that, I don't think you should be deported for stuff like that. That's crazy to me. Now, let's look at the economic issues with this deportation. He's already saying that he's putting 25% tariffs on Colombia. He said it's going to be run up to 50% tariffs on Colombia. Well, guess what? Our coffee prices have just gone up. If you smoke cocaine, I guess your prices for cocaine is going up too. I mean, this is ridiculous. And petroleum that we import from Colombia is going to go up too. So how is this benefiting us with these tariffs? He's going after Canada with tariffs. Guess what, everybody? Canada, we import lumber from Canada. That's what we use to build homes. So home prices are going to go up. We import cheap oil from cheaper oil from Colombia, which goes to these states like places like Michigan, Ohio. Prices for oil and gas is going to skyrocket if he does things like that. I don't think he understands what a tariff is. I think that's what the biggest problem is. He doesn't understand it. And this is going to cause things to really go up.
So question, hold on. I want to bring a Robo Rants back on. If you can unmute real quick. So Brother Kevin stated something about the Ukrainians and him not seeing any Ukrainians being deported, which I haven't seen shown or displayed on social media or the news. What is your position on deporting other races besides Spanish migrants, like the Ukrainians, the Asians, the East Indians, the other Africans that have been here for decades illegally, who also commit crime? What is your stance on that?
Well, my thing is this, right? He said what he was doing first. They're going after the violent criminals, whoever that is. Now, after that, yeah, I mean, even right now, I believe all of them should be deported. I don't care if they white Ukrainians. I don't care. I seen Chinese they opened a police department in New York City, in your city. What the hell is that? I seen the Chinese president, huh?
I believe that was illegal.
Yeah, look, you can't open up your own police department on American soil. That's ridiculous. I can't never say his name. Xi Jinping, whatever his name is, the Chinese president came and visited America. They was out there throwing a parade with Chinese flags. China is the enemy. As far as I'm concerned, I'm an American. China is the enemy. These Chinese people took to the streets with Chinese flags. They should go back to China. Everybody should go back to their country. I'm big on that. I don't care if it's a white Ukrainian, but here's the thing, right? Most Ukrainians did not come here illegally, so that's why you're not seeing them on the news right now, because they didn't come here illegally. It's too much of a long process. Ukraine is all the way by Russia. Mexico is right at the border. I've been to the Mexico border. I'm a truck driver. I've been to the Mexico border. So, that's easier for them to come here. You know what I mean? You're not seeing that many illegal white people because of the process. You got to cross the Atlantic. So, you know what I mean? Everybody should go back home. Everybody should go back. Coming to America does not fix the problem in your homeland.
See, you say that, right?
Hey, go that door for me.
You say everyone should go back to their own country or go back home. Now, I've heard countless white people, whether in person, on social media, or stories from Black and so-called Hispanic people sharing, when white people will tell Black people to go back to their country, Africa, or when white people tell Hispanic people to go back to Mexico or go back to Venezuela. How would you feel if white Americans decide that Black Americans were not part of this country and should go back to Africa?
Well, that'll never happen. You know what I mean? I've been told that online. Go back to Africa. I don't even pay it. It's just trolling. There is no country in Africa where I'm from. Like I said, I'll trace back to the plantations of the South. You would have to deport me to Rough Edge, Georgia. You would have to deport me to Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, you'd have to deport me back to Arkansas. Like there is no I'm a 100% Black American. I have nothing else in my lineage. You know what I mean? So where are you going to deport? That's just trolling. That'll never happen. There's no LeBron James won't be leaving America. Beyonce won't be leaving America. Vovo Ranch will not be leaving America.
Brother Kevin, what do you think about that, Kevin?
Well, you call it trolling, but they really want you to leave. I'll tell you that for a fact, because a lot of these white supremacists said they voted for Donald Trump because Donald Trump is slowing down the process of white America being taken over by minorities, because they feel in a couple of years they're going to be minorities. And the biggest reason why white people don't want to come to this country, because they pretty much think this country stinks. They don't want to leave their European countries to come over here. Now, let's look at the Ukrainian issue. Ukrainians came over here on a visa, the same visa program that Haitians came over on. And again, Donald Trump canceled that program, and you don't see none of them leaving. So, I mean, the issue is not immigrants coming over here. The issue is that it's dark-skinned immigrants coming over here, and that's the problem that they have. They don't like us, man. It's a simple fact. They just don't like us. White people feel that in a couple years, if this country keeps leading, let's say everybody came over here legally, they'll still be complaining, because their feeling is that they're being taken over. They're feeling that they don't want to become the minority. That's generally how they feel about it. So, I mean, to me, it don't make a difference if people come over here illegally, legally. They're still going to find a way to get rid of us. Look what he's doing right now. There's people that's been here legally in this country, and he's getting rid of these people here that are legally. Look at the border right now. Look at the border right now. People had appointments to come to this country legally, and he shut down that app. So what does that tell you?
Okay. No, I think
what is that?
I think we lost vote. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, Bobo. Continue, Kevin.
Yeah, I just want to say to the guy, there were people at the border, and there was an app that they were using to make appointments to come to this country legally so they can have their cases heard. Donald Trump shut that app down, and now these people are stranded on the border. They were doing everything legally to come into this country, and he still stopped them from coming into this country. So,
well, here's my thing, right? This is one of the points that I didn't get to say earlier. Even in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't help their country if everybody keeps running away. Somebody got to stay and fight. Somebody got to stay and make it better. If all your best players leave the team, how can the team win? If you believe it, these people come over here and show us the flag of their country and say, look at my flag. I love my people. We have a great culture. They even celebrate holidays in this country from another country. Somebody got to stay back and fight. They're having a brain drain. Somebody got to stay back and fight and build it, or that doesn't fix the problem. How long does this go on for? How long do these countries continue to have no running water, no infrastructure, no buildings, no welfare system, no just poverty? Somebody gotta do it. Somebody gotta do it. So you know what I mean? This might be tough love, but somebody got to go back and do it. America's already great. We're going to just get greater. But somebody, I want to go to Brazil and see the Brazilians doing good. I want to go to Jamaica and see the Jamaicans doing good. I want to go to Ethiopia and experience their culture. If all the dope Ethiopians come over here, all the dope Indians come over here, yeah, how can you win? So like that's what I'm saying. That's another reason why I voted for deportation. Somebody got to stay back and fix that shit.
Question.
Well,
hold on, Kevin. You said that America is great and can just be greater. So that leads me just to ask this question that I'm pretty sure you might have heard or seen. When was America great for Black people? Starting from the slave trade here in America up to now. When was it good or great for Black people?
Well, America's great now, right now for Black people, right now. Now, do we have problems? 100%. We got big, major problems.
Wait, hold on. I'm not talking about now. You said America is great and it can only be better. So I'm asking, when in America's history has it been great for Black people?
Well,
If you're saying now, then you neglect.
Oh, go ahead.
If you say now, then you're not addressing the rest of the 300 to 500 years that Black Americans have been here or were forced here. So when in that time period was it great for Black Americans?
It depends on what you consider to be great. For one, we got to keep that in mind. Huh?
Tell me. I want to hear from you.
Well, I'm a foundational Black American. If you look at our history, we've always had running water. We've always had toilets. We've always ate every day. We've always, we've always now. Or is there a problem? Slavery was 100% wrong. Jim Crow was wrong. Crack epidemic wrong. Running experiments on us wrong. Burning down our cities, our town. That's just wrong. That's just 100. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. But far as we've never lived in what I want to say third world conditions. You know, when there's a first world nation, that we've never lived in third world conditions, ever. If you look at our images from back in the day, all the Black people are dressed nice. They got on nice suits. They got on nice clothes. They well fed. They well spoken. They you know what I mean. Now, before slavery was wrong, yeah, we were enslaved. I'm a descendant of slaves, but it's
was that great? Was that great for Black Americans?
What, slavery?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, 100% not. Absolutely not. You know, that was the worst that we've ever did.
So when did slavery end?
Huh?
When did slavery end?
1865, officially.
So from 1865 till now, right, up to this point, when was America great for Black people then?
Well, we've always lived great lives, even under oppression. Under oppression. Yeah, 100 years of Jim Crow followed slavery. 100 years of Jim Crow. Even in Jim Crow, we were treated horribly. But we were educated. We were well fed. We were treated horribly. Let's be clear.
So it just confusing me a little bit. So
I know it is confusing. Yeah, I get it.
So the period of slavery, which was like, let's just say from 1619 to 1863, 1865, that was horrible, not great for Black people. Yeah. Now the 100 or plus years of Jim Crow or the Black codes, you saying that it was horrible, but it was still great for Black people?
Say it one more time. Sorry, I had some background noise.
I'm sorry.
No, that was me. That was me.
So from, let's just say the 1600s to 1864, 1865, it was not great for Black people because of slavery.
To 1860, you said 1865 to 1960. What you say?
No. From slavery. So 1600s, the 1600s,
1500.
All the way up to 1865, let's just say.
Yeah.
During slavery, it was not great for Black Americans.
No, it wasn't.
Right? And then so after 1865, you said Jim Crow. So Jim Crow Black codes were about another, let's say, roughly 100 years. You're saying during that time it was horrible, but it was still great for Black people?
No, I'm saying that we lived great lives. We did great things. We was under some horrible conditions.
So then was it great for Black people then?
Well, we live great life compared. That's why I said, what is your definition of great? Because in the grand scheme of things, we weren't what I want to say. We weren't living in third world conditions. We weren't living in third world conditions. That's just an undeniable fact. We weren't living in third world conditions. We had running water. We had toilets. We ate every day. We were oppressed 100%, 100%. But we weren't living. We lived better during Jim Crow than most of the world of planet Earth live today.
So then, what's your definition of great in reference to what we're talking about?
Today is great for Black Americans. This is great. I just told you. Today is great. We live great today. You know what I mean? We're millionaires. We're some of us even got an opportunity to become billionaires. We run businesses. We We got home. We homeowners, business owners. We take care of our families. We have the opportunity to do a lot of shit. Could it be better? 100%. It should be better, and we've always strived and fought to make it better.
Okay, I find some things a little troubling with what you said and worrisome. But I want our brother Kevin to what do you think? Do you think there was ever a time period in America where it was great for Black people?
I think the time period that was great for Black people when we were separated from white people. That's when I think the time period was. I think that was a good time period for Black people because it forced Black people to, to be together and to do things for ourselves. That's what I think was a great time period for Black people. Nowadays, I think Black people just integrated into this American culture and is loving a country that doesn't love them. So I don't even understand that. To be honest with you, I don't even understand that. I mean, I just want to ask the brother. I mean, he voted for Donald Trump. Can you just tell me one thing since Donald Trump been in office has he done to help Black people and minorities in this country yet?
Well, that's not really a fair question, brother. That is outrageous to ask that. That's really outrageous to ask that because he only been in office a week.
Just be fair, he did just take office, right?
Yeah.
Let's be on the fair side.
But he did promise things that he would do in the first day, and
I
has
know
he
you're
done
going
those
on
things?
the Ukraine thing.
And take it off the Ukraine thing. What about groceries that would help Black people?
He said that he was going to free the Jan 6ers. He did that shit at his party, his inauguration party. He freed them he didn't even wait he didn't even take a nap. As soon as he took the oath, 2 hours later, he freed them.
Well,
now, let me say this.
He lied about that in a way.
I believe they should be in jail, but that's something that he said he was going to do, and he got right to it. The following day, he started deporting people. He ran on that. He ran on deporting people. I think Donald Trump, it was really good for Black people. I believe that we missed the train. So now we got to see what he's going to do, but we really missed the train.
Well, he took away civil rights for Black people. He took away the civil rights thing for Black people. He took away DEE hired. He put a lot of Black people in the government to stay home or put them on leave. So I mean, I don't know how that's benefiting Black people. How many Black people are in his cabinet?
None.
Thank you. Oh no, that's wrong. That's one.
Oh, one. Oh, yeah.
How many billionaires does he have in his cabinet?
I only seen Elon Musk. I don't know if there's
everybody in his cabinet are billionaires. Everybody in his cabinet are billionaires.
Because even Elon Musk doesn't have an official role in his cabinet. He's
I'm talking officially in his cabinet.
No,
Linda McMahon is a billionaire.
It's like a advisory type of position. But here's the thing. I'm a foundational Black American. We've been in this country. I don't care about a Black face in a high place. I'm looking for men and women that are going to handle the business. That's it. I just want you to handle it. I don't care if you're white. I don't have to like you. I don't have to like you to do business with you. So if I don't care if he could have a whole Black cabinet, but if all of them are stiffs, if all of them are corpses in there, then we don't. Then we're not getting nothing. I want to get the work done. That's it. That's all I care about, and I feel as though that will push some of people forward.
Okay, so when you talk about getting the work done, what exactly are you saying? What work are you referring to?
Well, I voted for him for a reason. The reason why I voted for him was because he said mass deportation. I agree with that. He got right to it. When he said no taxes after 40 hours. I'm a local truck driver. You know what I mean?
You mean no overtime over 40 hours?
No, he said no taxes. Your overtime won't be taxed.
Yeah, but you know one of his judges canceled overtime for a couple of thousand Americans, and I'm being one of those. Now I'm not getting the overtime that I was getting before.
What are you talking about? Canceled overtime?
A judge in Donald Trump blocked overtime for millions of Americans.
You can't block overtime, bro. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
He canceled overtime.
Listen to what I'm saying. If I show up at 41 hours, you're gonna pay me. Period. Okay. Like nobody's sending somebody home at 41 hours, 42 hours. No, nobody Nobody, you can't block. I don't know what you mean when you say it. I don't know what that means.
In my company this week, they told us that after 40 hours, we no longer will get that overtime.
Oh, I don't know about that. I do not know about that. I haven't heard.
I think you need to look that up.
Well, I looked that up. I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna say you're an honorable brother. You telling the truth. So yeah.
So let me ask you another question. Now, Donald, now in California, it's like harvest season for like I think it's for citrus, oranges, and everything else. The immigrants are not showing up to pick those
Crops.
pick the crops anymore because they're afraid of deportation. Let me ask you a question. How many Americans do you think, black, white, whatever Americans, how many Americans do you think are going to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to pick those harvests?
That's a good question. Good question.
I know I wouldn't do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not about to go out there and pick nothing.
But you love this country, right? And doing that would benefit and help other Americans. So why wouldn't you not do it?
I'm a high skilled guy. I got other ways to benefit and help. They can help this country. Me picking some fruit ain't helping this country. I got more higher skills that can help this country.
But you understand now that they're not picking this fruit, and they're not picking this fruit. This is going to raise prices on these fruit on us again.
At the grocery store, brother. I didn't see no prices raised.
You haven't seen it yet? Oh, I've seen it.
I haven't.
Eggs are $10 in New York right now, or $7 to $8 right now.
What's $7 to $8?
Eggs.
Oh, okay, yeah. Eggs high all over the country. The gas is high all over the country. This stuff take time. He been in office 6 days? Not even 5 days.
Well, here's my problem with him. The eggs are high because of bird flu, because that's going on.
Now he told bird flu. Now I know you ain't gonna go on that road. Huh?
Well, hold on. I just want to explain something to you. He said they're saying that eggs are high because of the bird flu, right? And everybody knows that this is in the news and everything else. Donald Trump's administration is telling his health people not to talk about the bird flu and not give any information about the bird flu. So I don't know how that's helping. If you have a major disease going around right now that's causing, and they're saying that, some people have gotten sick from this already because of the milk, and it's having an effect on some of the milk that we're drinking. And he's telling his health and safety people not to report this, not to talk about this. I mean, I don't know how that's going to help. That's not helping. That's going to make things worse.
Well, my thing is this, brother. There's always an outbreak. There's always a salmonella outbreak. The spinach is bad one season.
Right.
This has been constant.
Right. But now you're not going to be able to hear about it because he's telling his people not to talk about it, not to report about it, not to give information about it.
Getting out because that's how you know about it. You're not in Trump's cabinet, so
right.
It's still getting out. So I don't know about none of that. I can't speak to that. But my thing is this: I believe that the FDA is great. The Food and Drug Administration is great in this country, and they have always been there. There's some tough watchdogs. They are some tough watchdogs. They do not. Americans don't eat bad food. Period. But whether we try to act like this is going to happen or that's going to happen, we do not eat bad food in this country.
Well,
we eat bad food by choice. You have to make a decision to go to McDonald's or wherever. We do not eat tainted food in America.
Hold on, Kevin. Volvo Rants. I want to make sure we address this because Kevin did say a very interesting question that I've heard many people talk about. Many of the Spanish migrants do pick the oranges that we eat, the apples that we eat. They do pick the cabbage, the celery, the corn. So if the illegal immigrants are used primarily or in abundance to pick these crops, then who, as a foundational Black American, would you think would be a great substitute for such a low-skilled job?
I believe AI is coming in. Well, we got AI coming right in. You can do that all you want, but that's the truth. I went to Burger King.
Terminator's gonna pick it?
Huh?
I mean, Terminator's gonna pick it now?
You can. Terminator is a joke. I'm talking about real machines picking this stuff. Machines have always I'm a descendant of slaves. We used to pick cotton. There was no need for us to pick cotton. The cotton gin came in. There's always been that. There's no need. Even if right now I got 2 cell phones. You know how much stuff this replaced? This replaced the watch. This replaced the calendar. All kinds of shit. Planners. All TV. Some people don't even own a TV. So this stuff is happening. This stuff coming in. But far as right now, they're not on the board right now. Now, if you're illegal, you're on the board. But they're not storming factories and all that because most of those people are not right now. He's focusing on the violent criminals, as they said. Now,
that's not true.
Well, that's what they said. That's what they said. They're going after.
They just stopped a veteran.
Wait, hold on. I don't want to. Let's hold it. I don't want to move past this quickly, right? So I can understand that you are thinking in a technological way, and how just like they replaced the cotton pickers with cotton gin, maybe they'll have an apple gin or some AI to pluck the oranges off the trees. But what about? I know you said you were a truck driver. I do know that AI truck driving has been in the works for several years. What if your job is also replaced due to AI?
Well, I drive hazmat. I can't. The job that I do is very dangerous. This stuff, I'm carrying a bomb. That's what I'm carrying. I'm carrying a bomb. So I don't think like right now we don't even got self-driving trucks on the road that just carry regular stuff, regular cargo. So as far as a bomb, I got to go into certain situations and I got to hop out the truck and hook the hose up and I got to carry this stuff. But by the time I'm 38 years old, by the time they get that together to where they trust the machine to carry a bomb, I'll be out the game.
Well, then that's the same thing with picking fruit. Well, when are they going to implement something in such a large scale where we would no longer need people to actually physically pick fruit? Which brings me back to the original question: if Spanish migrants are the ones who predominantly were picking this fruit before AI can even be implemented in mass production to replace that job, who then, as a foundational Black American, would be the suitable choice to have such a low skill job?
Well, I believe when we cross that road, I believe that legal, not illegal, legal migrants. If you come here the right way and you come here to work and you get a work visa, then go ahead. Yeah, you go out there and pick it. If that's what you choose to do.
What if they don't want to? Who then does that though?
Well, I mean, if you got a visa, you got to say what you're here for. You're here to work. You're here for education. You get an education visa. If you have a visa saying that I want to come to America and pick the fruit, then yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to pick it. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not picking it. I'm not picking it. There's no reason for me. I'm an old man. I'm 38 years old. I'm not about to get out there and break my back. I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And I have other skills that can contribute to society. But I feel as though that we don't. And then if the prices go up, I'm willing to pay more. Like some people got to make a sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to sacrifice a couple extra dollars.
So would you be okay for young foundational Black Americans to go back into the fields to pick this fruits and vegetables?
Yeah, if a summer job or something like that. Now this why not? Why not? Hard work builds character. So why not? But I'm not sure if they can do it, to be honest with you. Them people work hard, man. Listen, I work with Mexicans. They work like a dog. I got to give them 100% credit. They work hard. So I'm not sure if a young guy from the inner city could do it. I'm pretty sure they could. They got the capability to do it, but I'm not sure if they would want to do it for a low wage or, them people working for under minimum wage. You know what I mean? But I can't. If you're saying would I be okay with it? Yeah, I'd be okay with a young Black kid going out there and pick the fruit. Why not?
Okay. Kevin, I know you wanted to say something earlier.
Yeah, I just want to say this. when you ask me the question, I mean, if you want to say that we need to get younger people to go out there and do that work, we got to look at a couple of things. I mean, I don't know of any young people that's going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go out to pick fruits. And the second thing is, you're going to have to pay them a lot more. And once you start paying them a lot more to do that work, the prices for everything related to what they're doing is just going to go up. I mean, let me just tell you a story. I mean, they did an interview one time with this Caucasian woman in California, and they were talking about illegal immigration also. And she said that, you know, one time in California, there was this farmer that put out a job opening for people to pick cherries. And what happened was he couldn't find anybody to pick cherries at that time. He said not one American applied for that job. And this is the reason why he has to use illegal immigrants to do that job, because most Americans are not going to do that type of work. And that's just a simple fact. You want to get rid of the criminals, that's fine. But the people who are here working in those fields are doing that type of work. I don't think you should be getting rid of those people.
Well, let
I
me
think
say
that's
this,
crazy.
Well, let me say this, right? You don't have to be illegal to come and pick fruit. You don't have to. That's a choice you made. If we're going to live in a nation, if we're going to live in a nation with laws, the laws got to be enforced. We can't make an exception for the rule because they pick fruit and nobody else wants to do the job. No, you got to stand on the law. You got to stand on the rules. There should be a punishment if you break the rules. Everybody should be held to that same standard.
So should the people that's hiring these people illegally, should they be also punished?
You're harboring a fugitive.
Okay, so why aren't they being punished?
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet, but they
So
said
we got to be a nation of laws. But it seems like
Holman said if you harbor a fugitive, now we got to hold him to that though. This was his words.
Okay,
if you harbor these people, you're going to be in trouble too. So that's if we have a nation of laws, then yeah. Everybody need to be held accountable. It's the law, whether you like it or not. Like whether I run stop signs all the time. The law said you can't run a stop sign. If I get pulled over from running a stop sign, I deserve my consequences. So
at one time in this country, we had a way for people to come in this country and work for a certain amount of period, and then they would go back to their country. It was called the in and out system, where people came from Mexico, for example, and worked for the farm for like 6 months, and then after that 6 months, they would go back to Mexico. Yeah, America got rid of that system.
It's called a work visa today. That's what we call it. That's the modern day. It's a work visa.
But before it was the work visa, it was called the in and out system.
Well, I mean, you got to understand this too, though, brother. This is not 50 years ago. This is not 100 years ago. We got to get with the times.
But that wasn't that long ago.
But I'm just saying, this ain't that long ago. This 2025. We got a system today, a work visa or an education visa. You come here for a certain thing, and then after your visa is up, you gotta go back to where you came from. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so you have a problem. Then you would have a problem with what's going on at the Mexican border right now, where you had people who came to this country. They used the app like they were told to use the app to set an appointment to get a court date so they can listen to their reason why they want to stay in this country. Now you have Donald Trump canceling that program and leaving these people stranded on the Mexican border. Do you agree that that's wrong?
No, I think that's right. That's part of the reason why I voted for Trump.
But that's legal image. People coming here legally using the system that they were provided to come here legally. So your whole problem is that you don't want anybody to come here illegally or legal.
Personally, illegal or legal, illegal or legal. My thing is this. My thing is this. That was the previous administration, and I believe that they were wrong. They were wrong. That was outrageous to just leave the border open. You don't leave the door on your house open, do you?
No, I don't.
You leave the door. Yeah, of course. So why would you leave I say take the test. Take the test, brother. If you believe that we should leave the door open, leave the front door in your house open for 48 hours. Just go to sleep. Just go about your regular day. Go to sleep. Go to work. take the kids to school, whatever you do in your regular day, just leave that front door open and watch what all comes in. Trash is gonna blow in there, leaves, intruders, everybody gonna come in. You gotta swing, you got an open door, you don't leave nothing. There always needs to be a barrier to entry. There always needs to be a barrier to entry. If you violate the barrier, like your door on your house, if a stranger violates that barrier, that's a crime. There's a punishment for that. We have immigration law. You can't just walk just say I'm going to just come into the country. No, there's a right way to come into the country.
But that's what I was just saying to you 10 seconds ago. People came here the right way, and now they're being rejected for coming here the right way. And you're saying that you're fine with that.
Life ain't fair. Sometimes you can't get in. I mean, what do you want? Everybody, we can't just let everybody in. You know, sometimes you can't get in. You roll the dice, you try to get in. I go to the casino. I roll the dice. I'm hoping to hit 7. I'm hoping to hit my point. Sometimes I crap out. I don't say, hold on, wait, I need my money back. It's not fair. No, I gambled. They went there knowing that they wouldn't necessarily get in. They knew Trump was coming in. You went anyway. You rolled the dice.
But this was before Trump.
Huh?
But this was before Trump.
Listen, Biden was on his way out. The Democratic Party pushed Biden out.
Wait, hold on. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but just can't see you.
Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna just work on my camera. Something, a little tech difficulty, but keep talking, please.
Let me say this to you. I appreciate this space. This is intellectual. We're having a great conversation. There's no disrespect. There's no just guys sharing their ideas, and and we're having a debate. I appreciate it. I appreciate you running this space as well. But as far as Biden's policies, the Democratic policies were trash. They were just trash. Period. And that's why they didn't win again, because their policies were trash. They literally had it in the bag.
Yeah, I think
that hard to beat. You already beat once with Joe Biden beat Trump. Joe Biden. Jim Crow Joe beat Donald Trump. But his policies were so bad that he couldn't even hold his seat.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different thing when you talk about that with the Democratic Party. I mean, they do have some issues, but I agreed with a lot of things that he did do to help. But again, we're a country of immigrants. And any immigrant, in my opinion, that comes here legally has a right to come here legally and has the right to have their cases heard. I had the same argument with a Black conservative. He was, I'm from New York, and he was saying, well, what do you think about all the immigrants that are coming here from New York? I said, I don't have an issue with them coming here. If they came here legally, I don't have an issue with that. And then he was saying, well, they're getting free stuff. They're getting this free. They're getting that free. And I said to him, New York did not suffer because of that. New York didn't have to cut their budgets because of that. New York didn't have to, lay city workers off because of that. And then I said to him, if the immigrants didn't come here, do you really think they were going to give their money to Black Americans and the people that are here? You really think they were going to give that money to them? They weren't going to give that money to them anyway. So I didn't even understand that point when people make that point. New York, those immigrants in New York that came to New York are closing shelters right now because all those immigrants have left. They either found work to other states, or they found relatives that they hooked up with that they're living with now. I mean, New York City is closing down those shelters for immigrants now. So, I mean, it took a little bit of time, but those immigrants are very resourceful. They found work. They found places, other states to go that needed work and needed them to work. And they're very resourceful. So New York was never hurt by the immigrant issue, what people were saying. Black people were still receiving the welfare that they were getting. Black people were still, and I work in this department. When the immigrants first came here, it was a lot of work. A lot of people were working overtime to suit their needs. But after a certain period, things just started to calm down because the immigrants were finding jobs. They were finding places to go. They were finding housing in New York. And things just seemed to get better. And New York budget never was where Mayor Adams, first he said he had to, cut firefight, cut this, cut that, cut that. And then when there was pressure put on him, all of a sudden he found the money. And I don't think black people, when the immigrants came here, black people didn't get hurt. The people here really didn't get hurt because they were still getting their benefits that was owed to them. People were still getting their Section 8. People were still getting their welfare. People were still getting the things that the city promised to them. Nobody was getting cut off from that. So I don't understand why people are so mad at immigrants coming to this country when this country is a country filled with immigrants. It puzzles my mind.
I have a question for you, Bobo Rance. Because on what Kevin stated, I want to address what Kevin just stated at the end. Because I work for the city of New York. I worked at different shelters, and I currently work in a department under Mayor Adams, right? I do agree that these benefits were not or barely even being affected by recipients of welfare, public assistance, Section 8, SSI, SSD. However, as a foundational Black American, would you rather the money that America has sent to Ukraine, to Palestine, to Israel, to other countries, would you rather that be utilized for what's happening here in America? That way we can keep certain people to do certain tasks? Bobo Rance?
Well, when you say keep certain people to do certain tasks, it felt like you kind of slipped that in at the end. I do believe
only because this is about deportation.
Yeah.
So, right. So if we let certain migrants stay here to do those tasks, do you think the money that we send elsewhere could be utilized here in a more useful way?
100%. They need to give us our reparations. 100%. You don't mail that stuff off there. It's easy to do that. It's easy. That's 100%. That's easy to do. We could use that in my neighborhood. I live in a foundational Black American neighborhood. We're about 95%. It used to be 99%, but I'm starting to see other races come in now. But it's really Black on the east side of Cleveland. That's where I live. So that money, we can use that. Well, we can use that. All that money that's being spent in weird ways, sent overseas or given to migrant shelters and all that, we can use that over here. But my people can use that right now. It's a dilapidated building at the corner of the street that we can tear down and rebuild and turn into something. So we can use that right here.
Kevin, how about you? I saw you had your hand up.
Well, I just want to say this: when you talk about foreign aid to other countries, they just canceled foreign aid to most countries, but guess the countries that didn't cancel foreign aid to? Israel, Ukraine, and I forgot the last one. So that's kind of crazy to me. Like, he canceled all the foreign aid to all the countries that have dark-skinned people in there, but the other countries that don't have dark-skinned people in, those funds haven't been frozen. I mean, that's just crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. I mean, I don't think, like, even if you didn't give Ukraine any money, $60 billion, you think they're going to invest that into Black communities and brown communities? They're not going to do that. They're never going to give you reparations. It's not going to happen. I don't know why people keep talking about this. It's not going to happen.
That's your opinion. Nothing. We'll be going in circles. We going to work on the reparations. There's going to be naysayers, and that's just what it is. But that's just what it is. We believe that it's going to happen. It is. We're working towards it. That type of discussion, we're going to just be going in circles.
I have a question for you from the chat, Bobo Rance. People who identify as FBAs, how many of foundational Black Americans who identify as foundational Black Americans have successful businesses or are successful business owners?
Well, let me say this, right? That's a racist question. Actually, that guy that's asking that is a 100% racist. He's just a racist. They got this fantasy that we're just in the neighborhood playing Grand Theft Auto and getting snatched out of cars and killing each other. Hundreds, thousands of us own businesses. Thousands. Let me just name some of the ones that's prominent that we can see, that we can easily see. We can go to Turkey Leg Hut. We can go with Birdman.
And are they foundational Black Americans? Do they identify as foundational Black Americans?
When you say identify as foundational, what do you mean?
Well, I know, like this podcast that we're on right now, Cross the Line Radio, was started by Captain Tazariak and Captain Katazan. Now, Captain Tazariak is a descendant of slaves, Negro slaves here in America, in the United States.
I know
he does not identify or claim himself to be a foundational Black American, although his roots are foundational Black American. He identifies himself as being an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, right? And the point of me saying that is because not everyone who is what we would consider born, brought here, and had to suffer here, who are of Negro descent, many of them don't identify as foundational Black Americans. So for those who do identify as, like you identify as foundational Black American, for those like you who identify as this, how many of them are successful business owners?
I mean, I couldn't, in good faith, answer a question like that because I don't know all of us. But here's my thing, right? If we're going by the definition is this. Let's make it real simple. Can you trace your lineage back to the 1870 census, Black or Negro? Just the 1870 census, Black or Negro. If you can, we consider you to be a foundational Black American. There is thousands of, probably millions. It's millions of us with successful businesses that's running successful businesses that you may never know about. Small businesses like restaurant. I live in a foundational Black American neighborhood. I only shop I don't go to the Arabs. I don't go to the East Indians. None of that. That's how Black my neighborhood is. I shop right at the Black businesses. So there's millions of us with successful businesses all throughout America. So I'm not really sure what that's I know that most people, what you're saying is that they don't identify with that term, but by definition, if you can, there's millions of people in the United States that can trace their lineage back to the 1870 census, and it says Black or Negro that have successful businesses in America. We've always had businesses coming right off the plantation.
Can you state that fact that you just said? If they can trace it back to when?
The 1870 census. Let me put this up. You can. I don't know. My camera always. If you can read that.
Yeah. It says Catherine Beasley.
Yeah, but under it, the most important part is under it.
If you can read what it says.
Okay.
In the 1870 United States federal census.
Yeah.
Is that the only criteria, or why not sooner? Why not 1850 or 1840 or 1760? Why 1870?
The Civil War ended in 1865. That's just a historical fact. The first time that Black people were counted as citizens in America was in 1870, because that was the first census after the Civil War where the slaves were free. So that's why that's a very important year for us.
Can anyone do that?
No, everyone can't do that. That's why it's important. You have to be a foundational Black American to be able to do that. Everybody can't. A Jamaican can't come over here and be like, "Oh, I'm Black."
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people whose families and generations are here in the United States. Can all of them be able to go back to the 1870 census and find this information out?
99.99% of them should be able to, or we don't know what you is then. If you can't do that, because that should be very simple, because I'm on there over 20 times. I'm on that census record. I'm on that census over 20 times. And this isn't like a hard thing to find, or this isn't difficult to find. This takes about 30 minutes to an hour. But it's hard to fake, because you would have had to been in the country. You have to literally trace back your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. So these people lived in the American system. So under the American system, you have to be documented. That's why some of these people say, that's why the illegals are considered to be undocumented. Where you have to be documented in this system. You have to if you participate in the system, you have to have a birth certificate, a state ID, a driver's license, marriage license, death records, the school records, hospital records, census records. It's really easy to do. Like it's really easy. It's really simple, but everybody can't do it because everybody weren't here. Everybody are not descendants of the people that were enslaved here. In America.
Last question I have. So whose side of the family determines if you are a foundational Black American? Is it the mom, the father, or it doesn't really matter as long as one can trace it back?
Right. I know where you at with it. You're with the father, but we just either side.
Okay. Now I know we have someone else that wants to join. AF. If you can just activate your camera, that way we can bring you on. They just left. Okay. All right. Kevin, you had something to say? Because I want to steer this conversation forward.
Yeah, I just want to ask him a question because he said that, if prices go up, that's a sacrifice that we have to make. Did you feel that same way when prices went up under Joe Biden?
I don't get what you're saying. I don't get the question.
You said the question is like you said when I said that if immigrants are being deported out of this country who do that important work like picking fruits and working on the fields and doing all that type of farm work, and if these immigrants are sent out of the country and prices have to go up, you said that, well, that's a sacrifice that we all have to make. Did you feel the same way when prices went up under Joe Biden? Did you feel it was also a sacrifice that we had to make?
Well, when you make a sacrifice, you make it for the greater good. Joe Biden, I'm not willing to make no sacrifice for nothing that Joe Biden's talking about. That's why I got him out of there. That's why I voted to get him out of there. So I'm not willing to make a sacrifice for nothing that he's talking about. I'm willing to make, if I voted for mass deportation, if my grocery prices had to go up in order to deport illegals, well then that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because that's the greater good. That's what I voted for.
How long would you be willing to make that sacrifice?
Indefinitely.
Okay, so $10 gallon of milk or $5 per apple.
$5 per apple is outrageous. I might plant me an apple tree in the backyard, but
$10 for gas prices.
$5 an apple, yeah. $10 a gallon of milk. That's steep. That's steep.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because you said indefinitely. So if they're,
yeah. But I believe that things are going to even itself out. All right, we might suffer today, but tomorrow I believe it evens itself out. We are an innovative people. We should be able to innovate and think of new, clever ways. That's how you grow. You have to innovate. And just by the way, somebody in the chat mentioned the FBA gas station. Yes, I go to an FBA gas station. The 3 of them, right? In like a 3-mile radius. Yes. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. It's very Black on the east side of Cleveland.
So you a sacrifice also like $10 gas prices too?
I don't want to, but the gas prices is not going to affect the immigration. Now you're just asking anything.
Yeah, no, that will affect the immigration because
we got oil under our feet. I worked in the oil field.
Okay, and you understand that the oil under our feet is like the oil when we take it out of the ground, we can't just put it into our cars. It has to be refined.
Yeah, I worked in the oil field. I used to do fracking. I worked in the oil field. I used to work in Texas and New Mexico and Oklahoma. I worked there. I was the guy that came. I was there as the drill drug the stuff out the ground. I was there. Without me doing my job, they couldn't do theirs.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm bringing up oil prices is the reason because of the tariffs that he's trying to implement. When he implements tariffs on Canada, we import a lot of our oil from Canada. If he
we don't. We're the number 1 oil producer in the world. The United States. I know you don't know about this.
I know about it, but what I'm saying to you that we do produce the most oil in the world from the ground, but we don't just take that oil and put it in our cars, and we don't have enough of refineries in this country to refine the oil. That's why if that was true, what you're saying, that we wouldn't have to import any oil from any countries. We import a lot of oil from Canada. We import a lot of oil from Mexico. And if he puts those tariffs on those oils, we're going to be paying a lot more at the gas stations. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think it's going to go up that far. We have oil under our feet, so that'd be kind of outrageous. But I'm willing to pay more.
So you're willing to pay more too? Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanna show this real quick. Bear with me. Kind of want to go through this. And again, to anyone that's watching, you can join this live. I want you to join this live. I want you to talk about whether you agree with, whether you like Trump, whether you dislike Trump. What do you think about his policies? We've been talking about deportation and how it can affect certain levels of the economy. And I want to kind of scroll down this. This is from the whitehouse.gov, and it states President Trump's America First priorities. Now, I know as we kind of touched on the whole deportation, which is this highlighted part here, right? I would like to actually scroll down to
suspend the refugee resettlement program.
You want to talk about that?
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about. I mean, that's like, you know, for Haitians, they come over here because their country, they don't have an official government anymore. They don't even have a prime minister, so they come underneath that program, and that doesn't just affect them. It also affects a lot of other countries that come underneath that program. So he's going to suspend that program, and those people that are, like, for example, we take the Haitians who don't have an official government in their country, and they don't even have a prime minister. They're not going to be allowed to come under that program anymore because he wants to suspend that program.
And what do you think? What do you think, Volvo Rants, suspending this particular program? Do you think that'll be beneficial for?
What was the program again?
I'll put it back on the screen.
The refugees resettlement program.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of that can be abused, and you can't leave in tough times. I do not believe in that. I believe that tough times don't last. Tough people do. You can't leave. You have to build with your people. You got to go through it. You got to go through it. My people, I'm a descendant of slaves. I'm a descendant of Jim Crow. I wasn't alive for Jim Crow, but my mother and father drunk out of segregated water fountains. I'm a descendant. They didn't run away. The slaves didn't. They didn't run away. These people didn't run away. They sat and fought through it. I'm a believer of staying put, working it out. You know what I mean? If America go bad right now, I'm not leaving unless the air go bad. And now, the air, I ain't got a choice but to go that way now unless I can't breathe. But as long as I can breathe, I'm gonna stick it out. That's just what it is. If you're going through tough times in your country, okay, let's say you leave. This is my ideology. Men have always left the village to go hunt, but they've always returned back to the village with their catch. You got to return back to the village with your catch. You can't just like run away and then just be like, okay, I'm gonna stay over here where it's fertile at. No, you got to return back with your catch. So you got to go. There's nothing wrong. I believe that if your country's not doing well and you want to come to America on a visa and you want to work, save some money, get an education, learn something. I don't really like it, but I understand that. I do understand that. But you got to take what you learned. You got to take your knowledge. You got to take your fortune or whatever. You got to go back to your people. You got to go back to your people. Unless it's not, that, in my opinion, that's not really honorable.
Okay. What about this particular policy right here? It states that the Department of Justice will seek the death penalty as the appropriate punishment for heinous crimes against humanity, including those who kill law enforcement officers and illegal migrants who maim and murder Americans.
Well, we already got that. We already got that. If you kill somebody, if you kill anybody, that's all you subject to the death penalty. It's got to be it's the context of it, how you committed the murder, how you did it. But you don't just have to, that's just what it is. That's the system that we live under. And I believe in the death penalty. But we already have that. That's not nothing that special. That's special.
Well, not every state has the death penalty.
Not New York.
Well, But we have a federal death penalty.
Hold on, let me just double check that. I haven't looked at that statistic in a while.
I think we do have a federal death penalty, but I think that in some cases, presidents immune those penalties, like Joe Biden immune some of those people that were on death row.
Yeah, it's used relatively rare.
Right.
So then, with the Trump administration, maybe this might be used, might be more common.
Yeah, the last time he was in office, the death penalty, he killed, I think, like 13 black men.
What did they do though? Here's my thing though. Hey, a lot of black people don't agree with me about this too. But if a black man do something wrong, a black man murder somebody, then hey, he should pay with his life. If you go out there and cold-bloodedly murder somebody, you should pay with your life. And that's just not just with black men, Asians, white, Latino, Arabs, Indians, Martians, whoever. If you do something heinous like that for no reason, then you know, I believe in the death penalty.
But just correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think in the Bible it says that we're supposed to be taking other people's lives.
I thought it said an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, or something like that. I'm not all the way sure, but
well, the Bible did say that. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, during the time of Moses. But originally, there were laws that were set up to provide justice. So for like they had sanctuary cities. I actually like the scripture where it speaks about, let's say, for example, two men get into a fight. One man breaks the other man's leg and he can't work. That man who broke his leg would have to support his family until he was healed. You know, I like that because I don't think me unaliving someone because they unalived someone else would benefit and stop and prevent other people from unaliving others. I don't think that has ever worked, because if we look just here in America, we see that murder is still high. Murder still happens, you know. But I do have a question for you, Voval Rants. I know you agree with the death penalty, and I know you agree that the death penalty should be administered to anyone that's deserving of it. Here's a two-part question. Under Trump, were there cops that were white cops that were pardoned for unaliving black people? And if yes, do you agree with that? And why they didn't receive the death penalty?
Well, I'm not sure under Trump. I'm not sure. I'm be honest with you. I'm not. I don't have a reference in my mind of that. But if there were, they should be Trump's wrong, and they should be punished, at least life in prison, if not the death penalty. Trump is wrong. I don't agree with everything that Trump's doing. By the way, I don't agree with everything he's doing.
So is that a good, like, us as Israelites, we don't vote. We want, we would rather see America fall, like the scriptures say, because our king is Yahweh Shai, that's our government. But isn't that not in your best interest to want someone to lead you who you don't agree with everything that they stand on?
Well, yeah. I mean, this, my thing is this: that's the best that we got. I believe, as far as my knowledge, that we should have a government set up by the rules of the Bible. That would be a just system, you know what I mean? But that's not what we have. We don't have that system. So this system that we have here today is the best system that we have here right now today on planet Earth that we live under. Do I agree with everything? Of course not. Like I said, I'm a descendant of slaves. I don't agree with everything. There's no way. I don't agree with everything. I just don't. You know what I mean? But I look at it as like business. If you're doing business with somebody, you gotta concede to some of the stuff. You might go. Let's say you go to a store and buy a candy bar. You want that candy bar, right? You're gonna say, "Damn, this candy bar is $175.
What?
This candy bar is too much."
No, not yet. I'm ready to.
Yeah, you want to say that this candy bar is too much. But you're going to concede and you're going to buy that candy bar because you want it. When you're doing business, you have to. You know, sometimes you gotta concede to certain stuff. You gotta give up certain stuff. That's just what it is. So I'm going to pick the best business for me and my people.
So you agree that you say you don't agree with a lot of things that Donald Trump is doing. Do you agree that he should be taking over Greenland?
Why not? It's just sitting there doing nothing. That's actually a great piece of land in the whole on planet Earth, the planet that we live on. That's a great piece of space to occupy.
And we should take back the Panama Canal.
Why not? You gonna want China to have it? China's the adversary.
China doesn't have control of the Panama
Canal. They don't. Not officially.
They're never gonna have control of the Panama Canal.
Listen, everything that's everything, mostly I'm gonna say 80% of the stuff in your house is made in China. 80% of the stuff around the world is made in China. Their ships are crossing through that Panama Canal. It would be in our best interest as Americans to know who's coming through there, to control what's coming through there, to be in control of that.
So you don't have any problem with white colonialism, then? I think you don't. That's what it seems like. But that's what that's called.
That's not what that's called.
You have a government, the United States, who gave back the Panama Canal, or gave them the right to control the Panama Canal the way they want to control the Panama Canal. And now you're saying because another country is coming in there, and there's not really any proof that China is controlling the Panama Canal, that it would be our best interest to go over there and see who's coming in through the Panama Canal, what's going in through the Panama Canal. That's white colonialism right there.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not white colonialism. No, it's not. Why wouldn't you want to know who's coming through on it? We live on this side of the planet.
It's not because it's not our canal. That's why.
No, yeah, they gave it back to them in good faith. So now we live on this side of the world. If you're going to let China have it, the adversary, the number 2 country in the world that wants to take your place, that's chess. You want to know who's going through there. I don't know if you understand. That canal connects the Pacific with the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what's going through there. Period. You want to know what's going through there. So that's I want to know what's going through there.
The only thing that's going through there is shipping containers,
what's on the ships?
Products, stuff like that.
Exactly. Where is it coming
from? So you want American military to control that Panama Canal, to search those ships, to see what's exactly going in those ships.
That's
what you're saying.
We don't got the manpower to search every ship.
That's what he wants to do.
No,
that's what taking back the Panama Canal says.
We don't have to search every ship. We can say, oh no, this ship ain't valid. This ship, we read the manifest. What's on this ship? We don't like that. Send that shit back. You know what I mean?
Panama is not part of America. How would you like it if another country came to this country? Huh?
Who built it?
It doesn't make a difference who built it. We built a lot of things and give it back to other countries, or build things in other countries and let them control it. It doesn't matter if America
needs to be a part of America. It needs to be.
That's craziness right there. So should Canada be part of America too?
No.
Global rent.
Why not?
No, because why?
It's the same reason. He said it's for the same reason, because he wants to see who's coming across the border from Canada to America.
Canada, if Canada starts selling out to China, then
they're about to.
Then we cross that road when we get there. We talking about the Panama Canal. We weren't talking about China.
How would you propose a takeover of another country like Panama?
Right, that's what it's called.
Nobody wants to take over. I mean, at the end of the day, Panama is a third world country. You don't have to really take it over. I mean, like, they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing for their people. Their government is faulty. They have a faulty government at the end of the day. So this isn't about taking over Panama, the country. This is about controlling that canal, because that's a very important piece in the whole grand scheme of the planet. That's a very important piece of landscape, and America built it. That connects the Atlantic Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. You want to know what's going through there, because then that's the stuff that comes from the stuff that's in your city in New York comes through the Panama Canal. It comes from China, goes down the Pacific, goes down the West Coast, and it cuts through the Panama Canal to come back up, and you guys get it on the East Coast in the docks.
But it's not just things coming from China. It's coming from all different countries.
Yeah, but China's the
using
number one.
Panama.
China's the adversary right now. It's the number one adversary. Russia's right there too. So you kind of want to know. You know what I mean? You want to know what's going through there. I don't know what the problem with that would be. I don't know. Like, they're not going to run. China's going to take it, or America's going to take it.
But what do you think is coming through there?
It doesn't matter whatever's coming through there.
No, I'm just asking. What do you think is coming through there?
Whatever, everything's made in China. So yeah, all types of stuff come through there. But what I'm saying is, you want to know what's coming through there. You want to have control over what's coming through there, because the number one place for export is to America.
Question for you, Volvo Rance. You said that Panama's government is faulty, right?
100%.
Do you think the American government is faulty?
100%.
So what's the point?
What do you mean? What is the point? You fight to make it better. Yeah, when you say
if you're admitting that both countries are faulty, I mean,
every country's faulty.
So what is the point of trying to take over the Panama Canal with another faulty government? That makes no sense to me.
I'm an American. I would rather see America have control of the canal than China. That's what I'm saying.
But the Chinese don't have control of the canal. They pay for their ships to go through the canal just the same way we pay for ships that come through the canal.
It's got to be. Well, then why do you think they want control over it?
They don't want control. Where do they want control over it?
Why do you think America wants control over it?
So they can make money, like everything else.
Don't need no money. We are the money. Everybody's on our monetary system.
He's saying that he wants control of the Panama Canal because he feels that Panama is charging us too much money for our ships to pass through that canal. But they're charging the same amount for any ship to pass through that canal.
No, that's part of it too.
Yeah, but every ship that's passing through that canal is paying the same rate that we're paying for it.
But no, and he also said China's going to take it. You don't want China to take it.
China's not going to take anything.
He made that part up, and part of it is now it's about what you believe. If we're going off what he said, we got to keep.
I don't believe anything he says.
Oh, okay. Well, then how do you know that we're paying the same rate? That's what he said.
That Panama responded to what he said, and they responded to what he was accusing them of. They responded to it. That's why I know.
I don't have all the information. The information I do have, that I've researched myself. America built that canal. They gave it back to Panama in good faith. If they're going to let China take it, no. We need to take it.
Good faith in what? Good faith in what? Like,
good faith in
to another country, you build something in that country, you give what you built that was in that country to that country, in good faith for what?
You don't give it to the enemy. They're
not giving it to the enemy.
You know, when you say give it to them, like how I want to say this, not like formally giving it to them, but if you let them run things, China. I don't know if y'all been watching China's moves. China's been all through Latin America, building shit, building roads, building hospitals, which that's actually a good thing. I'm not hating on that. That's a good. I believe America should be doing that.
America has military bases all over the world. I don't understand your point here.
They're not building anything.
But they still have military bases in all these worlds, so they can monitor what these other countries are doing. I don't understand. That's the same thing the Chinese are doing. I don't understand your point here.
No, what I'm saying is that they're trying to take over there. They're trying to take over the canal. That canal is very important. You don't have to go down across the tip of South America around, was that Argentina, Chile, somewhere around there. You don't have to go all the way down there. You can just cut straight through. That's what the canal was built for. So,
yeah, the French tried doing it and failed. Then America made a treaty with Panama. But many of the workers who actually built the Panama Canal were from other countries. like Barbados, Martinique, Guadeloupe. You had a lot of foreign people who were not Americans who actually built that canal. So it never really was America's canal. It just it's still Panama's land. And at the end of the day, in 1999, when in 1999, when the United States decided to let Panama control or manage it, it was always Panama. It's their land, their canal that was built, regardless of who built it. I don't think the United States should have a say on what someone else does with their own land, because it sounds like colonialism, going into Iraq and telling Iraq how they should live their lives, or going into Liberia and telling them what they can and cannot do, trying to bring democracy to any other place, when in reality, when we look at it, we see that America destroys a lot of countries when they try to bring this idea of democracy or capitalism, or trying to liberate the people from their government.
My thing is that America doesn't go places. That's one problem that I got with my country. We don't go places, and we don't really liberate anybody. We don't build anything somewhere we should be, but we don't do that. That's a problem that I have. We don't. That's wrong. That we don't go there. We got the know-how. We have the military might. We could do that. They really could do that. You know what I mean? But we don't. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. I agree with you on that.
So you don't disagree in colonialism then, because that's exactly what you're saying.
I'm saying I disagree with colonialism. 100%.
But you just say you have a problem that America doesn't go into other countries and build things, and when America goes in other countries and build things, that's America's way of trying to take over that country.
Well, I mean, if that's how you see it, I don't see America going somewhere building stuff. But if that's what you see, if that's what you're saying, then that's wrong. That's wrong. You don't have to go and take over the country in order to help these people out of poverty. We don't have to do that. In my opinion, we don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to do that. So I'm not really sure what you're asking when you just ask that question. That's just where I'm at with it. We don't have to. We don't have to do that.
I want to touch on one last topic before we end. And this was a very great conversation. I appreciate the two of you joining. And for anyone else that's listening, I hope next time you can join, because I would like to do like a part 2 next Sunday around the same time. But I would like to address this to conclude. What do you all think about this right here? It says President Trump is taking swift action to end the weaponization of government against political rivals and ordering all document retention as required by law. President Trump is also ending the unconstitutional censorship by the federal government. No longer will the government employees pick and require the erasure of entirely true speech.
So, in other words, if you're working in the government, a white person can call you a nigger now, and it'll be fine. That's exactly what he's saying, because that would be considered. That's what's considered free speech.
I can see that being implemented, especially if it's going to be protected by this new administration. I could definitely see that coming.
Well, let's just go through what he's trying to say. The weaponization of the federal government. Only time the government has become weaponized, and only time it became weaponized is when they came after him. And what he did was he committed crimes. I mean, you can't take classified documents down to your residence, and then when they ask for them to get them back from you, and you can't refuse not to give it back to them. That's a crime. You can't do what you did in January 6th, where you had people go to the Capitol and try to stop the peaceful transfer of power. That's a crime. So the government, I would say, was always a little weaponized, but it only became hugely weaponized when it came to things against Donald Trump. So that's the only thing I would say about that. But The other part about censorship now, like what's the scripture where you say you're not supposed to lie? I think it's in Hebrews where you're
I
not
get it for
supposed
you. They're about bearing false witness.
to bear false witness and lying. So what he's saying now, it's okay to lie, tell untruth to people, spread misinformation, call minorities in government buildings, whatever you want to call them, because that would be considered free speech. So this is exactly what he's wants people to do. This is exactly what he wants the government to do now.
Just quickly to interject, you got Exodus 20:16, Exodus 23:1, Deuteronomy 5:20, Deuteronomy 19:16, Deuteronomy 19:18, Proverbs 6:19. There's many verses about bearing false speech or being a false witness.
I think one also is, I think it's Hebrews 6:6, where God hates a lying tongue.
Let me just get that for you real quick.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good thing, right there.
It's a good thing to call a black person a nigger in the office.
That ain't what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you understand that's not what. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would do that. Do I seem like the type of guy that would say that?
Well, I was just asking you that. That's all.
No, you just brought that up though randomly. Of course, I don't agree with that. My thing is this, right? Far as that you shouldn't weaponize the government. The government been weaponized against the Black American. You know what I mean? When you got laws put in place to where I got to drink out of segregated water fountain, or I got to ride at the back of the bus, or you know what I mean, stuff like that, then that's weaponizing the government. The government's supposed to be the referee as far as the documents being making it a requirement for the documents to be shown, basically, for all this stuff to be shown. That's transparency. Don't we want our government to be transparent? There's nothing wrong with transparency, especially if these are our government officials that we've elected.
Kevin, it's on Proverbs 6 verses 16 through 19.
Thank you.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, we all knew that the government has some sort of weaponized in some way, but it only became a big problem when it happened to Donald Trump. When it was happening to black people, Hispanic people, other people, it wasn't a problem. Until it happened to Donald Trump, he convinced everybody in the world that the Justice Department was so crooked because he did something illegal and got away with it. I want to add that too. He did things that were illegal, and he felt like the law, he was above the law. The law didn't apply to him. And that's the only reason why the Justice Department automatically became so weaponized, because they were coming after Donald Trump. And I think that's a big problem.
Well, I mean, you know, like I agree with you. That's when he made a big, he wants to make a big deal about it now. But at the end of the day, he's still right. You don't weaponize the government, period. The government's supposed to be a referee. That's what the government's supposed to be. Supposed to make sure that we all play by the rules. They're supposed to set the rules and make sure that we all play by the rules.
Right, but he should also play by the rules. If he played by the rules, and none of this stuff would have ever happened to him.
Well, he got convicted. You know what I mean? He did get convicted.
Well, he ain't in jail.
I mean, everybody that get convicted don't go to jail. I know a lot of people that got probation. You know, it is what it is.
But he didn't even get probation.
If the crime the punishment got to fit the crime.
Well, he never got probation. They pretty much dismissed the charges against him. Nothing really happened to him. So
what did he do that was so egregious to where he had to go to jail?
I think sending people to the Capitol to stop a peaceful transfer of power.
He was never charged for that, though. He should be in jail.
He was charged for that. She was charged in Washington for that.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I didn't know.
Yeah, January 6th. I also think that if you take unclassified documents and take it to your residence, and when the government asks for them back and you don't want to give those back, I think that should be something that there should be consequences for that. And he was charged for that, and nothing happened to him. So there's a lot of things that he did that was illegal, and he thought that he was above the law, and obviously it looks like he is above the law.
I mean, that does happen. We don't got a perfect system. If he broke the law, he should be in jail too. Everybody should be in jail. Everybody should be punished. Jail. Well, if it's not warrant, if the crime doesn't warrant jail, then it should be some type of punishment. That's my opinion.
Was Donald Trump convicted for his recent crimes when he was in court?
Yeah,
he was only convicted in New York.
Some hush
what was his punishment?
It was he didn't get any jail time. He didn't get probation. He didn't get anything.
Should he have got Volvo Ranch? Do you feel that Trump should have had some type of punishment like prison time?
If he was convicted of the law, and not necessarily prison, I'm not really sure the exact charge, because sometimes everything don't warrant. Sometimes stuff be a fine. Sometimes it's probation. Sometimes it's it's other stuff. But I'm not as sure of the exact. But if it was nothing egregious enough to warrant prison, then no. But I believe that he shouldn't be above the law. Like he shouldn't be above the law, in my opinion. No, nobody should be above the law, because if you let people break the law, then we don't have a just system. We don't have a law. We don't have a law.
Well, you're right about that. 34 convictions and nothing happened to him.
What were they though? I mean, like you saying that sounds
it's falsifying documents to benefit your business, meaning that he was lying about the values of his business to get better loans.
Oh no! Well, I thought it was the hush money case. He paid some prostitute or something. That's what I lied about it.
And that was also brought into the case also.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it, because I believe it was frivolous anyway, so I wasn't really paying attention. But if the law states he should be in jail, then he should be in jail. I'm real simple. His ass need to be in jail. He escaped it. Well, he cheated the law.
So it says here, just this is from the NPR.org. It says that the 34 felony counts in Trump's hush money trial. It says that he was charged with falsifying business records in the first degree. 11 charges there, guilty, 11 invoices for legal services, checks paid for legal services, ledger entries for legal expenses. So he was found guilty in the first degree on falsifying those documents,
which made it a felony.
What about Joe Biden's son?
What about Joe Biden's son?
You think he should have had some prison time?
Yeah.
I think he should have got some prison time, but I think that the simple fact that, you give presidents the rights to pardon whoever they want to, so he had a right to pardon his son. I think if it was on the other foot and it was Donald Trump's son, he would have pardoned his son too.
I probably would pardon my son, to be honest with you.
Me too.
Is it right? Fuck no, it's not right. It's absolutely not right. You shouldn't be doing that. Your son shouldn't be above the law. Trump shouldn't be above the law. Biden should be above the law. Nobody should be. Is it right? Do we have an all the way just system? No, we don't. No, we do not. But I believe in the law, and I believe that if the law is reasonable, that's what I believe. I believe in a reasonable law. I believe if you jaywalk, you shouldn't be killed for jaywalking, but it need to be some type of punishment for it. If you run a red light, you shouldn't do 5 years in prison for running a red light, but there should be some type of punishment for it. Now, if you run a red light and you hit somebody, that's something different. You know what I mean? But if the fact you ran a red light, no, you should pay a $200 penalty. Don't do it again. Well, that's what I would.
Well, let me ask you about the tax cuts that Donald Trump is proposing. Now, he's proposing a tax cut once again to lower taxes on corporations and also lowering taxes on Americans, but mostly benefits the rich people. Do you have a problem with Donald Trump cutting funds to Medicaid and Social Security to pay for those tax cuts?
Yeah, I don't know that much about that, but if what you're saying is true, yeah, you don't cut that. You don't cut our benefits. These people, the Medicaid people and Social Security people, they can't work no more. They're out of the workforce. We must take care of our people that can't do for themselves.
So what about the fact that Donald Trump used an executive order to stop Joe Biden's law, which would lower prescription drugs? Medicaid people?
I don't know that much about it. I can't just, I don't know that much about it, brother, to be honest with you. I don't know that much about it.
I got a follow-up question. I know that Medicaid is used by everyone. And since you are a foundational Black American, how would you see if Trump does take away funding from Medicaid and Medicare that foundational Black Americans utilize and have access to, would that change your mind in wanting to vote for Trump or wanting Trump to be the president of the United States when it's affecting foundational Americans' health?
Well, yeah, 100%. And it's not just the foundational Black Americans. It's anybody. Those programs should not be cut. They should be putting more into those programs, in my opinion. The money's there. Instead of sending stuff overseas and giving it to illegals and all that, put more money into that, into those programs. So I don't agree with that at all, cutting those type of programs. Anything that helps our vulnerable or our ones that can't do for themselves, then yeah, they should be taken care of. I'm a hard working man. I go to work. I'm able-bodied. I'm able to get up and go to work. One day I'm gonna be old and I'm not gonna be able to do it. I should be taken care of. If I paid into the system, if I participate in the system, I did what I was a taxpaying citizen, I was a stand-up guy in society, then yeah, that's what's supposed to happen.
So when we talk about illegal aliens, illegal immigrants in this country, do you know how much money do they put into Social Security in those programs?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure a lot.
97 billion in the last time I looked. So if Donald Trump deports all these illegal immigrants in this country, that money for Social Security and Medicaid, that money is not going to go into those programs anymore. And that money that's going to have to be made up in some faction. So how do you feel about that now? After I explained to you that if he gets rid of all these immigrants, like he said he's going to get rid of these immigrants, that money that they're paying into Social Security and Medicaid, which they're not getting benefits from because they're not American citizens. How do you feel about that?
What's the question again? You kind of phrased that weird. You said, how do I feel about the money that they're not, if they get deported, the money that they won't be paying into the system?
No, the money that they're paying into the system.
Yeah, they won't be paying if
they won't be paying into the system anymore, and there's going to be a shortcoming of for Social Security and Medicaid because of that. For that reason.
Well, I believe we'll figure it out at the end of the day. I believe that we'll figure it out. If what you're saying is true, I believe that we'll figure it out. I don't believe that these programs will be cut. There has always been rumblings about these programs getting cut, and they're going to take away Social Security and all that. Ever since Social Security came out, ever since these Medicaid benefits came out, they've never been cut. They've never been rolled back. I don't think that this is the time where it starts.
Okay, so if these programs are cut.
If they are
cut,
hypothetically now.
I'm talking hypothetically now. If these programs are cut in any way, they're cut. Are you going to come back on this show and say, "Oh, I was wrong"?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can concede to the truth. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, hit me up. Yeah, hit me. I got a YouTube channel, Vovo Ranch. Yeah, go over there and hit me up. Hit me up and say, see, he cut the program. I'll wear my shame and say, yeah, you were 100% right. That's wrong. I don't agree with everything that Trump is doing, by the way. I just look at it as business. When you're doing business, you got to give, you got to take.
Okay. Well, I want to close out and say thank you to Bobo Rance and thank you to Kevin G. Coolings for it's Collins?
Collins.
Thank you to Kevin G. Collins for joining. Definitely going to have a part 2 and future conversations. I know I do want to speak about abortion. I know that is a very sensitive topic that affects not only foundational Black Americans but also the Hispanic community as well. So hopefully we can do a part 2 on Trump next Sunday. And you all be on the lookout and feel free to join whenever you see us on live. And don't forget to everyone that's watching, tune in to Cross the Line Radio this Thursday at 10 p.m. We'll be going live with Captain Tazariak and Captain Kataza. All right.
Let me say, what's your name again? I'm sorry, brother. What's your name?
My name is Priest Ashargapan.
Priest, it's gonna be hard for me to remember that, but
you call me AG. AG is fine.
AG. I appreciate your space, man. You're a good guy. You got a good spirit, man. You know what I mean? This is a great space. I appreciate the conversation with you and Kevin. Y'all some good guys, man. I appreciate the bill.
Well, so, that's the way Commanding General Yohana raised us, and I appreciate you all from coming on to the show. Hopefully, I'll see y'all next Sunday.
For sure.
All right. And everybody thumb up the video.
Yes, like and share. All right, well, listen, that was two brothers on here talking about their thoughts about Donald Trump. Hopefully next time more people can join. I see a lot of people in the comments giving their thoughts and their opinions. I would have liked if you all would have joined. It would have made for a better dialogue, adding more information and questions to hear people's responses. But again, thank you to everyone that joined. I'm an officer Shargapan with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Want to shout out Commanding General Yohana for building men like me and everyone, that every man in the school to be as diligent as this. And make sure y'all tune in this Thursday. Captain Tazariak and Captain Kataza will be hosting Cross the Line Radio from HQ, the headquarters here in Harlem. Shalom, everyone.